Hey, how's it going, everyone? This is my perfect score on Urban World by Mapper with no moving. This took about 20 hours of attempts to get. Uh, Total pain in the ass. What happened was in GeoGuessr's last video, Tom made a throwaway comment about how he was probably going to go for this eventually because it's definitely possible, and I agree, it is definitely possible. Possible, though, does not necessarily mean that you should do it, as I have kind of found out. It's not impossible. A lot of the rounds are doable. You get a lot of doable French rounds and stuff. It'll take about 20 minutes, but you can get them. But you also get a lot of like middle of Cambodia, middle of a random city in Canada. I mean, how are you supposed to find a random suburb with no street signs? And that's like your fourth round. It's a heartbreaker. You can see some of my closest attempts. This is my closest attempt ever. I narrowed the city down to Montreal. I find the only Honda dealership in Montreal. It took about 35 minutes of searching or so, and this is on the last round. I have a perfect score up until here. I click on the Honda dealership. It doesn't exactly correlate, but it's the only Honda dealership in Montreal, and it's 2 streets away, not marked with any sort of Honda verbiage, signage, anything. So that sucked. But anyway, so a little bit about Urban World. Urban World has, generally speaking, has 5 cities per country, and you eventually will just learn what cities are possible. And that's really the thing that makes this challenge the most possible, at least for me, at my skill level, because I'm not as good as a lot of the better players who grind diverse world and that. I can't really recognize the countries. Give me a nice .nz, I know where I am. So I see the .nz, obviously we're in New Zealand. I've had Brisbane, I've had Churchill, I've had Auckland, so I know, and then I've had this city, which is, I think it's called Dredden. So I know it's going to be in one of those cities, and the road is generally interesting. So I decide, all right, let's just hop in. I zoom in right to Dunedin, and I just get lucky where I see the exact road I'm looking for. It just pops up with pretty big text. I don't need to go too far in, and I get a pretty fast round one. I'm able to just find this pretty easily because it's an intersection. I have both road names. That's chef's kiss. What could you ask for? This is a perfect way to start. A lot of times, if when I was playing, if I got like an Eastern Europe, even like some like a France that you can get, but I'm thinking it's going to take me at my skill level about 15 minutes to find this. I'm just not great at identifying specific districts and stuff, so I would skip a lot of those if it was first round, and I would just be doing reset over reset over reset. But over time, because there's only about 2,600 locations, so honestly, I have a lot of them just memorized at this point because I've played this so many times. So that'll come up later. That first time was an example. I think where I clicked, it was actually 2 streets over from a previous round in that town. I think by like Union Tattoo, if I recall correctly. On this round, I basically immediately got distracted by the large structure that I thought was maybe a bridge. That sign says Spokane and the 95, pretty obvious that we're in Seattle. And I thought that it was a huge bridge, which would make sense for Seattle given its coastalness, but it's not a bridge. It's actually Minute Maid Park, which I just didn't picture being right in the middle of like a bunch of highways. So I went on Google Maps afterwards, and yeah, lo and behold, that is totally Minute Maid Park, which is a cool little fact. Now I know if I ever play the that map as a popular GeoGuessr map. But anyway, I'm just scanning the off ramps for this highway system, looking for the outdoor emporium. It looked pretty big, so and it's pretty easy to spot on the map. It's not too far away. Everything correlates. Getting a little careless here. I don't double check. I'm still distracted musing over whether that's a bridge or what. And I'm actually only 93 yards away, which is not great because I think 120 is the limit. So thankfully I got a great third round. Really lucky here. Turn around, boom, Jacksonville sign. Let me take a stab where we are, and start looking for the financial district because we're surrounded by banks, and that's basically going to be the rest of this round. For some reason, I just cannot correlate it with the compass, and I can't find the buildings I'm next to. And again, this is after 20 hours of attempts. My brain is largely fried. I think I probably pass it about 50 times, so maybe don't watch. But eventually, we get it. I think the biggest thing is I didn't see the Bank of America tower right there, and so I kept going. There's a Bank of America tower here. That doesn't make any sense because we're center bank. But eventually, I'm like, all right, this just correlates Forsyth Street, and I'm able to track it down. But the next round, let me explain. So when like I said, start at the beginning. When you're doing this, you're just resetting so quick, so quick. If you get, like I said, when I was getting to South America, I'm just resetting because I'm not good enough at South America that I'm going to spend the 30 minutes that it would require me to potentially get a perfect score on a South America round. But thankfully, the next round, I'm gonna click perfect score. Awesome. This pops up. I go, oh my god, I've had this round before, but I did not memorize it. Unlike some of the things that I have memorized, this one, I'm like, okay, I know it's Monterey, and I think it was to the left of Monterey. So you're gonna see me zoom into Monterey, and I remember, and I clicked right there because I remember the marker was to the left of Centra. So I know generally. This is actually awesome for me because there's only one city, and I just have to find one semi-unique looking street. So all I have to do is scan everything to the left of Centra. So bit of a cop out. Didn't have to do too much detective work, but after 20 hours, I will take this. You know, I put in my 20 years. I got my gold watch, so I really don't want to have to do this again. So I'm not too guilty about getting a repeat. Especially because I still did have to do a fair bit of scanning to find it. Eventually, the unique road will kind of pop out. I do scan over the actual like Monument Hill that I think we're on, but eventually I will find it and click it. So the next round does take a little bit of explanation because, well, I'll just be frank. What happened is I'm recording this on just NVIDIA Shadowplay, and I was recording to my hard drive because I have a lot of hard drive space, and I had mentioned that to my roommate, who I mentioned prior, and he had said, oh, why don't you just use buffer recording so you're not wasting so much storage space, and I just said, it's not that big of a deal. I want to make like a montage of my best guesses and stuff afterwards, so I'd like to keep all of the footage saved, and yeah, so it was about 70 gigs at that point, but I still had like 100 gigs or so I'm not too worried about it, but yeah, I did not end up getting the record in that time frame. So this round will cut out right as I find. Thankfully, it doesn't cut out like before, so there's no funny business. You watch me find the exact location, but you just are not gonna. And I'm as sad as anyone. You're not gonna see that moment of triumphantly clicking the guess button. That will unfortunately be left to the game breakdown, which I will still show. And the description has a link to the file to the game as well, so you can look just to see that everything is up to code. But so basically, immediately upon entering this round, see the .pl, which for anyone who plays Battle Royale now, okay, Poland, that's the main clue. Obviously, there's some other stuff, but the PL is the biggest thing, and all that matters for this. Now, just looking around for a city name. I think there might be someone somewhere, because there's only about 5 cities you can be, but I've never really explored Poland too much. I know Warsaw, Wrocław, and the one I zoomed into initially are the 3 I've seen the most on Urban World. But I'm like, this doesn't really look like the same as all of them. It doesn't have that big population. And then I realized, oh, Gdansk. That's a Civ 5 city. I remember from being Poland because it's the best Civ in Civ 5. So zoom in, I see Hotel Mercure, I think that says, and then there's another hotel, Hotel Ibis, that is there as well. And those two combination allows me to just easily scan the city, looking for those pink little emblems that show hotel. Eventually I find Hotel Mercure, and this is the part I'm talking about where I'm clicking around, I'm trying to find the Santander Bank, I'm trying to find the kebab shop, and trying to line everything up with the compass. I'm really trying to get this right, so the only thing we really miss, actually I have the exact location, but the only thing we really miss is just about 3 minutes of double checking, trying to find the kebab. So as you can see, I had 0 space left on the hard drive I was recording to, 70 gigs of files, just of GeoGuessr, which I unfortunately had to delete Overwatch to make up some room for this recording, but not the end of the world, and I will remove those now. But as you can see, this link will be in the description. And here is the game. That's the Jacksonville guess, and let's zoom in back to where we were. And you can see just everything's up to code. That's the guess, and we're on that same road right there. Thankfully, I think that wasn't too off center. It would have been. I mean, if I cut out before, like I got the road, so I think it should be fine. But as you can see, here's the location in good old handy Google Maps. But yeah, so that was my attempt, or not attempt, rather that was my success at a 25k. You can see there's the kebab shop that I was looking for about 20 minutes when I was searching for this place. But Wasn't the best seed. You could have gotten some more repeats. That would have been awesome. But no, it was a great seed for me. And thanks for watching.